is part of Just Justice campaign is actually a Twitter campaign. So please tweet today. If you've got Twitter, I won't be insulted if I see you on your phones. I'm going to assume you're tweeting this, so feel free. And also don't forget the hashtag for the conference is just below it as well. Look, just before I start, I'll also introduce myself. I am a Yorta Yorta woman who grew up on Lake Macquarie. Lake Macquarie is 2 hours north of Sydney, and it is beautiful country. That's a photo from my balcony, or I should say my parents' balcony, but it's where I grew up, so that's my home. And I'm a Yorta Yorta woman from down Victoria Way, and I know I've got another Yorta Yorta woman in the back there. We introduced ourselves earlier. It's really nice to have someone from home. And look, I always start by introducing my family, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do. I have to say, I'm a bit emotional today. It's been a really full-on couple of days. So that's me and my brothers. They are the two most important men in my life, besides my father and my mother. And this is me. I'm a very privileged woman, and I know that. That is why I speak out for our mob, because I know a lot of our mob don't have the opportunities that I've had, and I wish I wasn't the exception to the rule. And this is why we started Just Justice after conversations. It breaks my heart to think that we've got so many of our kids in jail that they may not have the opportunities that I have in my life. My mother worked so hard, so did my father, to give me what I've had. But not everyone can pick themselves up from the ground like my mother has. She's been knocked down so many times. So, by the way, Just Justice is not just me. We are a massive, massive team of just a couple of people, really, and we've done an amazing amount of work over the last 12 months. We've got Melissa Sweet, who is the chief editor of Croaky.org. If you don't know Croaky, jump on. Amazing journalism outlet. I write for them because they're one of the few ones that actually allow us to represent our issues the way we actually see them and don't write in that negative deficit model. So we've also got Mari McInerney, who is another amazing journalist with Croaky, Mitchell Ward, who does all the amazing memes that you'll see, and Megan Williams, who is a doctor and she works in the justice space, and then there's, of course, me. We also have a large number of supporters. We have one of our biggest supporters in the room, Professor Tom Calmer. Without him, we probably wouldn't have gotten the money that we've gotten either today. So we've got also Mick Gooder, Luke Pearson, Tim Senior, Kelly Briggs, Damien Bonson and Mark Scully. So we've got a mix of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people. However, we are actually privileging Aboriginal voices, but we are only 3% of the population, so we do need non-Aboriginal people's support. And look, what we're trying to do is actually raise the issues of incarceration and not just the statistics. We know the negative shit. We don't need to hear it over and over and over again. What we need to be hearing is solutions being told by our people for our people. And what we're hoping to do is that we can reach out to policymakers, politicians, NGOs, and actually start sharing some of the good work that's happening on the ground. A lot of our mob are so caught up with doing the work on the ground, they don't have the time to stick their head up and actually tell their stories. So that's actually what we're hoping to do for them and with them. So we are encouraging a sustained focus on incarceration, looking at it from a health perspective. And what we're wanting to do is produce an ebook. Now, the ebook is going to be made free for download, and we're going to make that available online so everybody can access our stories, because we know this needs a life beyond us. And the articles are all hosted on Croaky. So look, we all know what the Aboriginal definition of health is, but I just thought I would remind us, because we look at health as both the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, the cultural, and we all need all of those to actually be in line, and that's why we're taking such a focus on incarceration and health. I've actually had some people say incarceration has nothing to do with health. I think it has everything to do with our health. As we heard from Mervyn, we've got incarceration has such an impact on social and emotional well-being. And sometimes I think it's actually a chicken or the egg situation. We have such discrimination in this country, such racism, such poverty and such disadvantage at times that there are so few other options. And then once you get caught in the system, it just drags you down. So what have we done to date? And I just want to share with you that we are an organisation and we are a campaign that has started from pretty much nothing. And the reason why I wanted to showcase it is because when a couple of people get together, there's a lot you can do. and with some support behind you from amazing people like Tom Calmer and Mick Gooder and other people, there is a lot you can do. And we need to be talking about it. Someone texted me this morning and actually said to me, I've been seeing your tweets, and it's great that the conference is going on, but all I hear is talk. But the problem is, if we don't talk about it, nobody is ever going to listen. And we need to have our stories out there, which is why I work to do this. Now, I'm a PhD candidate. I do work. We got a small amount of money for this. We each got, and it's public information, $2,500 for this campaign, which will probably go for 18 months, and I spend a lot of time on this. So it really just covers our expenses. So we do this for the love of our communities and because we see the need and because we have the opportunity to do this. There's a lot of doubters out there about Twitter, and can I just tell you, I hope I'm going to convince you that this is something that actually can be a positive platform for our people. We're not going to save the world with Twitter, but we certainly can make a dent. We've had a large number of impressions, over 79 million impressions. We've had over 21,000 tweets just on the over-incarceration of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We've had over 3,500 participants. So that's people who have directly tweeted or retweeted. And you can imagine how many more have actually read our stuff without actually promoting what we do. And on average, we have 2 tweets an hour about this issue. 2 tweets an hour about the over-incarceration of our mob. 2 tweets an hour for 3% of the population. I think that's pretty impressive. And of course, we've got a large number of people that are involved. We've got Frank Meany, who is currently periscoping my interview. And look, we've got such a diverse range of participants, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal organisations, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal organisations, and it really shows that in this country, while there is a lot of stuff happening, more can be done, and these are the people that are actually going to help us do it. What's Periscope? Periscope is an online streaming app that was created by Twitter. It's fantastic. You can download the video to your camera roll, which means you can upload it later like I will be doing to YouTube. So it has 24-hour live on Periscope, and anyone from around the world can actually watch it. I did a half-an-hour one. Actually, I think it was more like an hour and a half with Uncle over here, and we had over 339 people viewing it, and that was just the people that viewed it within the time we interviewed, and that was from all around the country, around the world. So it's not, these issues aren't just being heard in Australia, they're actually being heard internationally as well. And one of the other reasons why I got involved with Croaky and Just Justice is because as a young Aboriginal woman, when I look at the media, I don't see my family represented there. I don't see the stories that I hear and know. I see the issues being talked about in really negative deficits, and I find that really challenging because I know we're more than that. I stand here as an Aboriginal woman and I'm more than the issues that people talk about. And I want to represent us as a whole totality of who we are, the strengths we have in our communities and the solutions that we have in our communities that nobody is listening to. So we want to break down through Croaky the perceptions of who and what we are and actually show people that we are someone and we're people that can actually make differences in our own communities and for our people around the country. So we would not be here without some really generous support. So one thing I forgot to mention earlier was that we were crowdfunded. So I mentioned that we got, $2,500 each, which is not very much, but we managed to crowdfund $30,000, which is amazing. One of our supporters was the Jesuit Social Services, which was fantastic. They were our largest organisational donor. Now, I've got someone in the room who likes to be behind the scenes, but he really does actually deserve to be mentioned. Frank Meany also was our largest single donor. Without him, I don't think we would have gotten over the line and I wouldn't be standing here today talking to you. So I'm very grateful to Frank for that and very many other reasons as well. He is definitely a strong ally for our people. But wait, there's more. We also have a conference news service, and that's what I'm here to do today as well. So if you'd like to share your stories with me, please come and share your stories. And I'd also like to say we had over 300 other single donations. So we had 2 very large donations, one organisation, which I mentioned before, but the 300 donations were individual people that felt the need to actually contribute to us because they saw that we needed to be telling these stories. So I'm very grateful to every single person that's contributed because I wouldn't be able to do this either without them. And look, Croaky has a conference, as I said, a conference news service, which is what I'm here for, and we would love to share your stories, and I'm hoping I can have a chat to Mervyn later, so we can share his story through Croaky if he'll let me. And look, if you want my contact details, they're here. And I guess I really just wanted to stand up here today and just say, sometimes it feels like we don't have a voice, but platforms like Twitter give us a voice. And I found that there's been a community that's been developed through Twitter, which strengthens me. As you saw earlier, it gets quite emotional. You carry a lot with you. We've all been touched by suicide, either in our personal journeys through life or, you know, with our family members. And this is why we're here, is because we know that suicide is an end product of all the shit that people have to put up with. And we are hoping, and I'm hoping, that at least we can make a small dent in some of that shit so that people can actually stand up proud in their communities. So thank you.